Welcome all. The MFPH Next Generation Seminar Series is a networking event for early career scholars, juniors, modelers, and epidemiologists working on or interested in mathematical modeling of infectious diseases and other threats to public health. Bienvenue à tous. La série de séminaires MFPH Next Generation est un événement pour les chercheurs en début de carrière, les modélisateurs juniors, les épidémiologistes travaillant ou intéressés par la modélisation mathématique des maladies infectieuses et d'autres menaces pour la santé publique. First of all, we wish to acknowledge this land on which the Feeds Institute operates for thousands of years. It has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. Premièrement, nous souhaitons reconnaître cette terre sur laquelle l'Institut Fields opère depuis des milliers d'années. C'est la terre traditionnelle des Huron-Wendat, des Sénèques, des Mississaugas. Aujourd'hui, ce lieu de rencontre abrite encore de nombreux peuples autochtones de toute Turtle Island et nous sommes reconnaissants d'avoir l'opportunité de travailler sur cette terre. Our guest today is Professor Bouchra Nasri. She is a professor of biostatistics at the Department of Social and Preventive Medicine, Université de Montréal. She is FRQS Junior 1 Scholar in Artificial Intelligence in Health and Digital Health. She holds ERSEC Discovery Grant in Statistics for Time Series Dependence Modeling for Complex Data. She was a postdoc in theoretical statistics at McGill and HEC Montreal, funded by the FRQNT, Kansi, and Gerard. She's working mainly on development of statistical learning methods, artificial intelligence methods, and mathematical models for infectious diseases and public health threats related to climate change. Notre invité aujourd'hui, professeur Bouchra Nasri, professeur de biostatistique au département de médecine sociale et préventive de l'Université de Montréal. Elle est boursière FRQS Junior 1 en intelligence artificielle en santé et santé numérique. Elle détient une subvention à la découverte du ECR en statistique pour la modélisation de la dépendance des séries chronologiques pour les données complexes. Elle a fait un postdoc en statistique théorique à McGill et HEC Montréal, financé par le FRQNT, Kansi et Gerard. Elle travaille principalement sur le développement de méthodes d'apprentissage statistique, méthodes d'intelligence artificielle, modèles mathématiques pour des maladies infectieuses et les menaces de santé publique liées au changement climatique. Her talk today will be on writing research proposals, tips for early career researchers shared by an ECR. Sa présentation aujourd'hui portera sur la rédaction de propositions de recherche, conseils pour les chercheurs en début de carrière, partagés par un chercheur en début de carrière. Professor, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, and the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to the Next Generation Committee for inviting me, and thank you, and special thanks to Idris, who was very keen to hear about how we write a proposal, and he asked me several times, and I said, okay, I will do it. Even if I don't feel like I am the best person to advise you about how to write a research proposal, I am also a early career researcher. I started my job in March 2020, just a week before the starting of the pandemic in Canada. So when I started, the university closed like a week after, or 2 weeks after, or something like that. So I was a little bit by myself doing research at home and trying to connect with people. So I found like Zoom very good way to reach out to people and ask for advice. You will see that all my presentation is about how to get, like how to start your first application for funds, and like some small advice like that helped me on getting some grants over the 3 first years. So as I was saying to Ben and Zara before, I just got lucky and got some funds. So it doesn't mean if you apply and you have a no, it's just a matter of time. So sometimes you will get some success at the beginning. It doesn't mean that you are that good. Just mean that like the randomness is with you at the beginning. So sometimes you will just be like, no, your proposal maybe needs some more work, but it doesn't mean that your research is bad, or doesn't mean. Sometimes it's just a matter of time. And if you already have your PhD, you are doing your postdoc, and so you are already successful. You don't need like approval from any grant agency to see if your idea are good or not. But keep in mind that you might get yes or no, but you should also keep hoping that it's just a matter of time. So as I said, I was very lucky to secure some funds, which make me work with so amazing people during the last 3 years. So I will start. My presentation is very short, so it will give you also the time to ask me a question if you have question or so. So the first thing is, a lot of juniors ask why we write grant applications. So the main goal, in my opinion, it's not to get money, but it's to evaluate your idea and get feedback. So when we apply for a grant, usually we have like reviewers from external reviews or from the committee that guide us about some specific things. Sometimes we forgot some specific pieces in our proposal that the committee will say, okay, maybe you should reach out to some other people from this expertise, or maybe you can combine your idea with some other specific ideas. So it gives you some feedback about what you are doing. It's kind of writing a research paper, and you have reviews, like you have 3 reviewers or 4, or that give you some feedback to have a better research article. So we also write a grant proposal because we have those ideas, but we need people to work with. So we need maybe students, we need postdoc, research assistant. It depends on our area of research. So basically in math, we mainly need HQP and some specific like computation or travels or other specific things. So all the money goes to students, or what we call HQPs. So we have our labs, and our students work with us, collaborate with us to help advance science. We might need money to organize seminars, workshop, or like other activities that put researchers together. So seminars and workshops are very, very important, in my opinion, because it's the way to get connected to people, to share ideas. And usually during the workshop, you aren't working really doing like writing a paper or anything, but you are listening to other ideas, you are listening to other talks. So it it gives you also ideas to your project and also connect you to people to collaborate with. So workshop also, we need money to run workshops, to travel, to send our students to connect with other students in other lab or other researcher. And what is important is the fact that research can be very, very limited if we don't have funding. We cannot have students, we cannot do workshop, we cannot travel, and in some other area of research, they can just not do any research without money because they cannot have labs, they cannot buy any instruments or other thing. So funding is important to survive for research, and writing a grant, especially team grants, will give you also the opportunity to meet people. So usually you have like a couple of people that are co-applicants in your grant. Some of them you don't know them at all. You will meet them during the writing of the grant. You will exchange with them, collaborate with them, and maybe they will be like your future friends and colleague. And so it's important to have those ideas, try to write something about those ideas, and obviously get funding to do science. So I'm just trying. So as I said, all start with ideas. So we want to develop something. It can be ideas for projects. So you have one idea and you want to develop a project with some sub-objective, and so and you can apply for project-oriented grants because there are specific type of grants. It can be a research program. So you have like one big idea that basically during your limited time of funding, you will never finish the idea, but you will build on this idea. So maybe you will do another proposal in 5 years to continue on your ideas. You can be interested, for example, in doing modeling for time series, and you will just like have a couple of ideas that you will build on your first 5 years, and then you will continue your research program after that. It can be infrastructure. You want to buy like a computer for running simulation, or you want to build a lab for something. It can be network, bring all people together to discuss and share research under one thematic. For example, the network for Math for Public Health is a good example. It can be also writing a grant to have a workshop, like you have some specific idea, you want to invite some people and you need money to run the workshop. So those things are slightly different, and they will be executed in different stage of your career. So at the beginning, you will not write a network proposal. It's too big. You don't know people. Network, it's maybe hundreds of people, and so it's too difficult to at your year one to write a grant proposal for a network. You might write a grant proposal for a research program, for example, or for a project, but you will not do all those things, and you will do the small part of like what it takes you less time to do, and it's not overwhelming for an early career researcher. So usually when we start in any program related to MathStat, we write a grant proposal for what we call Discovery Grant. So Discovery Grant is 5-year grant. It's an INSERC grant, and it's a research program. So you have like, you are working on infectious disease modeling. So you have a couple of ideas that you want to execute during the 5 years and have a continuity for maybe other 5 years or so. So we usually start with Discovery Grant, and then when we go to Discovery Grant, we will do other type of grants. For example, CIHR project, if you are working on health, or you want to do infrastructure, we want maybe some competitions, like a type of grants, or maybe in 5 years you want to build something, you build network or so. So usually in math, we start with the research program, which is the Discovery Grant program. And it takes a lot of time writing your first grant. So when you have your ideas, you have what you want to do, you need to find the right place where to apply and the right program. So as I said, some programs, the programs are different. Some of them are for individual grants, which is the INSERC Discovery Grant. But some of them are more team-based projects. It can be submitted to INSERC, CIHR, SHRC, or other funding agencies. So you can be interested in CIHR project grants, or a New Frontier from SHRC, or Alliance from INSERC. It depends on your project and what you want to build. So it's important also to go to these websites and document what they propose, what are their program, and if it's feasible in year 1 for you. Because if it's taking too much time, you don't want to waste your time on writing multiple grants when you are still building your CV. Because writing grants is really time consuming. So you want to be very strategic and write something that you have a high chance of success, instead of writing multiple grants, so which will consume your time of writing papers and doing the research. So what you need, like right now, we are in stage that you find your agency, you find your program. What you need to do, you need really to read the instruction, but really read the instruction very, very carefully. Every line, it's important. You might maybe say it like, I can just read the overall. No, every single line, it's really important. And it's important to underline every specific things that are requested in the program, because you need to call those specific things in your proposal, because the reviewer needs to read that you are aware that they want this specific thing. So the reviewer needs to understand that you understand the call. So that's why you need to read the instruction very, very carefully. You also need to attend the information session. For every grant, there are, sorry. For every program, there are information session about the instruction, about the goal, and so. So if you are available, go to the information session and ask as much as you want questions. It's really important to understand every specific thing, that avoid you to waste your time. If you see that it's not for you, or if they find that it's the right call for you, you will at least you understand every specific thing. If you are not available, usually they are recording for information session. It's not for all, but you can at least have the slides. So if you attend the information session, you read carefully the instruction and you still have question, contact the funding agency, they answer very quickly, or call your research office. So the research office is very important because they also attend, people from the research office also attend the information session. They have also, sorry. They also have all the information and they ask all the questions needed. So they are the right people to give you answers. And don't feel like you don't want to ask question or you will be judged or anything. It's really okay to ask question. It's better to ask question than wasting your time writing something that you don't understand. So you attend the session and now you understand everything. The first thing to do before start writing anything is to make a to-do list. Some grants take a lot of time and require a lot of documents. So you need to ask yourself, if you have the time to do all these to-do lists, you don't want to do your first grant if you have like 2 weeks. It's too difficult. You will just waste your time on writing something for 2 weeks. You will be very stressed. It's more likely that you will maybe forget something and you will be disqualified before even reviewing your grant. So make sure that you have enough time. Don't write something at the last minute. Take your time. Your first grant will take a lot of time. Like my discovery grant, in my first year, it took me 2 months and a half because you need to find all the literature. You need to find the right objective. You need to write the first draft, the second draft, the third draft. You need to get some feedback from people. So it takes a lot of time. When you will be more senior, maybe it takes you less time, but at the first, you need all your time to do a very good draft. So give yourself the time to write a draft and get feedback. It's really important to get feedback from senior people. So don't be afraid to ask for a mentorship. So before even starting writing or doing your to-do list, you can schedule a meeting with someone who you trust, someone more senior than you, and ask them, should I really go for this grant or no? People, they will give you the feedback if it is okay for you to do it at your stage, or you might need to wait. What are the ideas that you want to advance on your grant? If it is important, if it is not. So get really some help. Get some mentors that they will give you the right answers. You can even get several mentors. It doesn't mean like you have just one. You can get 2 or 3 or 4. Just maybe sometimes to give you different opinion. So it makes you also comfortable to take the right decision. Also, before starting writing a proposal, you need to ask for some previous example of some successful proposals. So before I started writing my discovery grant, which was my first grant that I wrote, I asked some senior people to send me their proposals, and they will all send you the proposals. Like, no one tell me like, no, I don't want to send. Like, people are very helpful, and they will help you. They will tell you, I did this. Even some people will tell you, I wrote this in maybe this section, but don't do that. I don't like, when I reviewed after this, I didn't like this section. And so they will give you even more feedback about their own proposals. So also assess the level of complexity. So some grants are very, very complex and need a lot of work. So ask yourself if you have enough time to do all what is required, and what is the rate of success. You don't want to write a grant that the rate of success is 5%, 10% as your first grant. It's more likely that you will not get it. So write some grants that you know that the rate of success at your stage is high enough to get selected. Sometimes you don't have the rate of success because the program is new, but you can have like the total budget and what they are expecting. Usually those information are shared with the researcher. You just need to ask the funding agency about them. If it is a team-based grant, and those are tricky, like individual grants, you are by yourself, you get some mentorship, you ask question, but you will just do it for yourself and for one person. But if it is a team-based grant, usually you need more than yourself. You need a team of people for writing a grant. So the first thing you need to ask yourself, do you need one other person? Do you need 10? Do you need 100? Because it's a really different scale of writing and managing and everything. So if you are 10 people, you are more likely you need all their CVs. You need them to approve the proposal. You need them to read. You need to schedule a meeting. You need like to set the doodle and find the time to talk to all those 10 people, which is very difficult in academia because everyone have a different schedule. So it's really difficult to get even a meeting couple of times before submission. So it's really important to have a very, very good time management. And you should not underestimate all the administrative time that you will need to get the CVs, the approvals, to ask your co-applicant to read the grant. If you are more than 10, for example, you are doing a grant for network, you really need to get, you are more likely, it's really difficult to do those kind of grants, and you need some administrative help. So you need to hire some extra people just to help you get in the CVs and get in the approval, and you don't have to overwhelm yourself with all those things. So think about all your team. And one thing is important, you really need to think about what you need as expertise for your team grant. Because like if you are doing some topic that needs some specific expertise, you need to get this expertise in your team. Otherwise, like the success might be low because the reviewer will see that you don't have some specific expertise that are more for this kind of topic. So take a time to think about your topic, to think about who you need in this specific topic, how many people you need. If you have time, what are the tasks that you need to do before starting anything? Okay. So also when you have like those team grants, you sometimes some agency also request some letter of support. So if you are doing, for example, I don't know, infectious disease modeling for some specific disease, you might need some people who, some organization who works more in those kind of disease or something like that. That this organization will share with you the data, or they will help you for the knowledge translation or other thing. So you might need some support from them, some letter of support that prove that you will get access to what you want. And what is important for this is to contact them early in the process, because some organization might need approval from several people before they write anything to you in a letter, informal letter. So make sure that the first thing when you draw all your network about what is needed in your grant and the people to contact, and so to contact the people that you need them for a letter of support at the beginning, because it can take a lot of time. Also, one thing, collaborative work, it's all about being a team. So don't forget that if it is team-based grant, to be a team player. You need to have like some diplomatic skills, and to listen to your co-applicants and share with them. And not just share with them when you are writing a grant, but also share with them when the grant is successful. You need also to listen what they need. And so because you are building connection and you are building research, which is a collaborative research, it's not about one person that is leading the research, but it's about everyone that are involved in this research. So acknowledge always your co-applicants and people who are working with you. Acknowledge them, acknowledge their support, and acknowledge everything they are doing with you in this team-based grant. And that will also help you to build your leadership skills. Leader, it's all about being grateful to other people who help them in all the process. And don't forget, when you get money, to do research with them. It's not only about the PI, but it's about everyone who is involved with this team-based grant. And also be grateful to all your staff, your students, and everything. We can't do anything without our member of lab. So it's important to acknowledge them at any occasion. So what's the important tips to write a very good proposal? So for me, a proposal is like a research paper. You need original idea to fill out some scientific gaps. So what is needed really is to do, you have an idea, it's amazing. You don't know if it's done before, or you are the only one who have this amazing idea. So you need to do some literature review. You need to understand what you are feeling as gap. and you need to write this this literature review in a way that everyone will understand why it is important, what you want to advance, why it is important for this specific program or specific goal. You need to do that, you need to read a lot. Really what helped me in doing my discovery grants is the fact that I was just reading a lot of papers, and it's easy when you are doing a postdoc to have time to read. When you become faculty, you will have like less time to do a lot of things, but reading a lot, just be interested to go into seminars, a workshop that will open you to a lot of ideas, and will open you also to talk about people and get some collaboration, even for papers. So when you understand the gaps and you will write down some objectives, so you might have one overall goal and you will have some sub-objective that you want to do to reach this goal. For example, you want to understand the impact of behavior for the spread of some infectious disease. But the first objective is to get some data for this behavior or something like that. So you will list your sub-objective to reach out your goal, what you want to do. And you will build your methodological section. What do you need for a subsection? Maybe you need to collect data, you need to analyze data, build a model, validate a model, something like that. So for each sub-objective, you will have like some way to find the solution for your sub-objective. Sometimes you can even put in your proposal some preliminary results. So for example, if I'm doing my discovery grant, I might already have some simulation results for some objective, but maybe I don't have any asymptotic result, any theoretical result for my estimator or my test or any of that. So I can say that I already ran some simulation, and it sounds that it converged to the true value, but I didn't do all the theoretical stuff, so it will be done maybe in next month or so. So sometimes you already started working on some objectives. It can be some objective that you are already doing in your postdoc, or it can be sometimes some objective that you started with other grants. So you have like some pilot grants. Sometimes the university gives some money for some pilot projects. So it's small money to just do literature review or something like that, small simulation or anything. It can be also some money that came from your startup grant. So usually when you will have your first position, the university will give you some money to start your research. So it calls startup grants, or some previous project you are working in team and you did already some simulation, but now you want to work in deep in those things. So it's important to show that you understand what you are proposing and you already did something for that. It's usually good. You can also write your expected outcomes. So what you are expecting from this. And sometimes you also need to write some plan B, especially in some fields, like for example, in math or in theoretical stat. If you are writing down some way to reach your theorem and it might not work, you might say, if it doesn't work, I might for example try this. So we just show the reviewer that you have some knowledge about the fact that it might not work, but you are just suggesting a way to do it. It needs to be feasible. So what you are proposing, it needs to have some feasibility. So for example, if all your proposal is about some specific data and you don't have access to it, so your feasibility is very low because you don't have access to those data. So be just careful about the feasibility, because it's important that the reviewer see that you can do this research. It's also about one other thing that maybe I didn't put it in the slides. It's also you need to show that what you are proposing and what you are asking for as a reasonable thing. If you want to prove some theorem or something like that, and you are asking for 1 million to do this, it does make sense. You might need like one student or something, like your budget needs to reflect what you are proposing. And it's the same thing if you want to build a network and it's need like a lot of people involved, and you are asking for 10K, doesn't also make sense. So just make sure that your budget reflect what you are proposing, and usually ask some advice from the research office about the budget that you need to put in your proposal. So it is important to underline your expertise or the expertise of your team and how this fit with what you are proposing. If you are writing a grant about whatever, time series analysis, and you never do any time series, it's clear that you don't have any expertise on that, and the feasibility will be questionable because you never did that, and you might need some expert in these fields to help you with this. So it's all about that your expertise need to fit with what you are proposing too. So make sure, again, that you have time, you have resources to do what you are proposing. So your budget is important. Make sure that it's clear proposal, because the panel of reviewers aren't all experts in what you are doing. So it's very, very, very important to write it in the way that everyone needs to understand why it is important and how you want to do it. So a well-written proposal, all ideas are connected, clear, and original, make you more likely to be successful in your proposal. Get feedback from your team, from your mentors. Prepare version 1 of your proposal. When you get feedback, prepare version 2. You might prepare 3, 4, 5, until the version that you are very satisfied with. So it's important to get feedback. It's important to send your proposal to some expert and ask them for some good feedback. Usually we don't want to do it because we are like junior and we don't know how people will react to our proposal, but just do it. Even if they say it's very bad proposal, that's also good feedback, because you will improve it again and again. So don't be afraid to even get like some bad comments. It can happen. People try usually to not give a bad comment, but even if it's bad, that's a very good comment, because you will just improve it and improve it until it's good enough to be submitted. So this is the proposal. and you will spend a lot of time writing your proposal, but don't forget all the other things, because there are always all the other things. So prepare your CV, check the format of the CV, underline all the expertise connected to your proposal. On the CV, for example, your paper that are connected to what you are proposing, and so, or put them in the proposal that in your CV, you already published this and this that are connected with what you are proposing. And so check the format of all documents. It's really important. You can they can reject your grant without even reviewing it if the format is not correct. Prepare all the other documents. Sometimes it will take you a week or 10 days just to finish all the other documents related to the proposal. Have a checklist and verify your checklist. Book a day or two to read everything carefully, especially your first one. Submit it to your research office because they have internal committee of revision, so they can review everything and make sure that everything it's you fit the instructions and so. So after, now you submitted your grant and it's okay. As I said, if it's good results, go and have like a week off. If it is bad results, don't worry, it's only a matter of time and it happens a lot. So this is my final slide. I just want to tell you that success is like the iceberg illusion. What you are seeing on Twitter, it's only this, but all the failure aren't on social media. So this is what happens usually. So you get a no, you get like a grant rejected, a paper rejected, and a lot of other things. But we usually just celebrate success. So, but on our time being faculty, you will have like some bad news, and it's okay. You will just use to it, to those bad news after a couple of months. So you're just like, okay, paper rejected, oh, that's fine. But at the beginning, it's overwhelming. But with the time, it can just be okay. I will just improve it, submit again, and that's fine. You will see sometimes couple of submission, and it's really okay. It's just a matter of time. Sometimes you aren't successful, not because your proposal is not good, because they are very limited. The fund is very limited. They don't have a lot of money, or they cut the budget. It's not that you are not doing effort. It's just because budget is limited. Sometimes they have some specific ideas that they want to fund. Just tell yourself it's always a matter of time. You are all successful, and time will show you that. So it's all for me.
Thank you very much. We will open the room for questions. Is there any?